What is up, guys? Welcome to the 10th episode of All of Your Suggestions. Alright, let's get right to the point. Ninja. The Japanese called the ninja shinobi. Ninjas were the original Japanese hitman, so you could pay them and make them kill somebody. And they did their job very sneaky and perfectly, so nobody would be suspicious. The samurais were pretty much the same, but they took orders from the emperor. They were basically the highest level of hitman. Ninjas and samurais has been in Japanese history since the 12th century. When samurais did their jobs correctly, they would move up in the ladder. And the ones that did their job perfectly over and over would get to the highest level. And it's good to know that the samurai swords, depending on who it was and who was the maker, has very expensive ones. And there's a chance that one sword could cost up to $1 million. The next suggestion we got is the pyramid that's in Bosnia. But some people mistake this for a Croatia pyramid, but the Bosnia is correct. The biggest pyramid in the world is located in Bosnia. It's so big that next to the Great Pyramid of Giza, it's huge. But the Egyptian pyramid is hand-built. This pyramid is nature. But there are conspiracy theories that say, no, humans made these, but the science is covering it up. But scientists say no, this is a mountain that came out shaped like a pyramid. The next suggestion is the Wagner Group. Wagner is basically a private army, and if you pay them, they could start a war. The soldiers are Russians, and there's more than 6,000 commandos on this force. This group has started in 2014 and they've participated in a bunch of wars, like the war against ISIS in Iraq and Syria, and some wars in Ukraine. They say this group gets most of its tasks from Russia because Evgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner Group, is friends with Putin. The next suggestion, Anonymous. This is a group of hackers that basically protest by hacking. Anonymous started in 2003 by hacking different churches. This group only does political activity. They don't really steal from other people. They try to hack and send a message. They say Anonymous is a big fan of conspiracy theories, and they believe most of them. Until now, the US government, UK, Australia, Netherlands, Spain, India, Turkey, Israel, Tunisia, Uganda, and Iraq have been hacked by these guys. The next suggestion, NASA's X-ray telescope. The name of this telescope is Chandra, and it was launched in 1999. It has been 22 years since this thing launched, but it's still active, and it takes X-ray photos. This telescope takes X-ray photos and finds the hot spot of the planet. Like for example, this is Pluto, and this is the X-ray version. This is Jupiter, and these are the hotspots, and it's everywhere on this planet. You might be asking, why does Jupiter heat up like this? But you have to know, if you've seen our video about Jupiter, you have to know that its gravity and the movement of the gases on the surface make this planet extremely hot. Jupiter's surface temperature is 426 degrees Celsius. The heat is not coming from the sun, but it's created within. You guys already know that a lot of countries have decided to go to the moon. And you guys ask us, what's the schedule looking like? US, Russia, Japan, Europe, China, and India. They all want to go to the moon. I don't know why people all of a sudden want to go to the moon so bad. Russia is gonna be the first one and wants to go to the moon in just 6 months, meaning by July 2022, Russia will be on the surface of the moon. Elon Musk's SpaceX is gonna be the next one after Russia, and they want to go on the year 2023. But a more complete trip is gonna be done by NASA. They're planning on going to the moon with astronauts by the year 2024. These 3 dates are set to go, so it might be a little back and forth, but it will eventually be done. We said ghosts, jinns, all of them are fake, but a lot of you suggest to talk about them. But we have to say that our 3rd episode of all of your suggestions, we explain this. Another suggestion that we see a lot all over is the zombie disease in China. We have to say that this is all fake, and nothing like this has happened in China. In the world, they call this fake news, and it gets spread out very quickly and everybody starts to believe it. The next suggestion is the Dalton gang. This gang had 9 members and they were working from 1890 all the way to 1892. In 2 years, they turned into the most famous thieves of all time, and the police were looking for them and they wanted to arrest them. But they successfully only arrested one of these guys because all of the other ones were killed in a crossfire with the cops or while they were robbing a train or bank. And that one person got 14 years in prison. Another question we got is the atmosphere of Earth, and why does everything that enters the atmosphere burn up? Let's start from the ground. When a rocket like this launches to space, it uses most of its fuel to get to right here, the atmosphere. When it exits the atmosphere, it doesn't really need fuel like that because it has entered a vacuum. But inside the atmosphere, there's air, and that air creates friction. And that is why when a meteor is heading towards Earth, all of a sudden it hits an invisible wall of atmosphere, and the friction of the atmosphere starts to burn it quickly. And this is why the return capsule of astronauts are very strong, so they don't burn up in space, because they literally turn red while they're coming back. You might be asking, then what about the meteors that actually hit the surface? These were really big, 90% of them burnt off in the atmosphere, and the rest of it reached the surface. This atmosphere is basically the protector of the Earth. If this atmosphere was not here, first of all, nobody could breathe because there would be no air. Second of all, planet would turn into hell because daily 25 million meteors are trying to hit the surface of the Earth. Just think about it, there's no atmosphere and all of these are hitting the surface. It would be worse than a war zone. Some of you suggested, if it's cloudy, then why doesn't it rain? Then the wind comes and takes all the cloud. What happened to these clouds? If these clouds don't get heavy enough, they do not rain. There's small water particles in the cloud, but the cloud literally has to be heavier so the water molecules get bigger and fall. And that is why if a cloud doesn't get heavy enough, it does not rain. Another question we got is that is 5G signal cancerous or bad for you? It's good to know that we made a video about wireless on Polstick. They've been doing tests on this signal since 2011, and they're trying to find anything that would help us see if it damages humans or not. But they haven't found anything, and if anyone says it, they're conspiracy theorists. And this is the proof. They're still studying 5G, but they still haven't found anything. Some of you asked, if they're looking far, far away, how do they know a certain planet has a certain temperature? The astronomers basically measure the microwave the planet is giving off, and that sees the temperature. Basically, the more compact the wave is, the higher the temperature, and the more spread out it is, the colder it is.